Hello, Aquarius. Thank you very much for tuning into this week's read. For the main part of the read, I am using Tarot Illuminati by Eric C. Dunn. Supportive Oracle cards, the Halloween Oracle by Stacy DeMarco. Very big fan of that. I finally found it. Very happy to use it. Okay. All right. This feels very like, when somebody has their dinner plate and nothing can be touching, like the potatoes have to be over there and there has to be a break between that and the meat, and there has to be a break between that and the vegetable, like whatever it is. Like, how everything has to be very segregated, just like in its own spot and not touching. That's what this kind of feels like to me. It starts off with the lamp, right? Which it says remembrance, but when I'm feeling the lamp, it's kind of like you're looking at a situation and you're kind of enjoying it. Doesn't seem that bad, nothing wrong. Intriguing. Now, when this is happening, you're intrigued. You are intrigued. Your energy is not negative and it's not low, it's kind of good. Now, the reason I'm questioning that is because what I'm seeing in the environment is the Three of Swords. Like, somebody else is not happy and very upset. Somebody else is upset. But I feel like when you're looking at it, you're like, you're filling in the blanks for some reason. You're like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. How did you end up there? It's kind of like, somebody who made a bad investment, and you're kind of like, did you do your due diligence to know if that was a good idea or a bad idea? You're like paying attention, and you're like, whatever this person's upset about, you're looking at it kind of like, how did you contribute to your situation? You're kind of looking at it in that way. Like, how are you contributing to that situation? How did they contribute to their own situation and put themselves where they are? Now, the thing is, I think this is why your energy is a little bit higher, because you're kind of like, listen, I think I see what they're doing, and I think that situation actually could go a little better now if they just change a few things. And I feel like you're coming forward, and I get the barmbrack bread. It's a Halloween Samhain bread. Basically, it's kind of like a fortune bread. There's a ring baked into it, a coin, a stick, a pea, piece of cloth, probably something else I'm not thinking of. It depends on the person. The people put into it what they want, but it's kind of more of a, like, it's not really like just something you mindlessly eat. When you get a piece of it, you try to see if you got anything in it, so that way you don't chew it, chew on something you don't want to, but you also, like, you get some type of message about what's coming forward. Now, the reason I'm going into all that explanation, in case you didn't know, when you're talking to this person, you're first trying to see if they're interested in the information. It's kind of like you see this bread, and you're trying to explain, like, see, there's bread here, and this is something to do with this. You're just starting off very carefully. You're kind of like, it's almost like you're saying to them, listen, do you want to fix your situation? You want some help getting your life back where it needs to be versus just doing what you're doing? You're trying to kind of wake them up in the sense of, like, it's almost like you're trying to say to them, I know your situation isn't the greatest, but it doesn't have to be that bad. If you work with me, maybe we can make it a bit better, but you're going to have to participate in this. So you're in your own way, you're trying to get that out there. Like, listen, I know it's rough, but it doesn't have to be that rough. If you work with me and stand up, maybe this can get a little better. And I feel like this person is listening, and they're upset still, but they're trying to stand up. But again, it's like in the beginning I said that, like, everything has to be segregated. It's something about keeping everything separate is causing an issue. It's like separating everything out so rigidly, in such a rigid way, is not helping them. And I feel like you're kind of like, listen, how about you just make more room on your plate by pushing things together? And they're like, what? I feel like it's like that. It's like, oh, I can't do that. Like, yeah, you can. You're saying, yeah, you can. They're having a hard time with the information you're giving them. It's like they're looking at that barmbrack bread and they're kind of like, I don't want that. It's got stuff in it. It's got stuff in it. I don't want that. I want a cupcake. And you're like, listen, though, in this thing, you could get some gifts out of this. You might want one of those gifts. You're explaining to them it's taking a while, but you're showing them, listen, I know it's going to be rough. I know you got to put in some extra effort, but you can make this really good. You can get a really good outcome here. That's like the lovers sometimes is the passing the test, things going better, things improving. You're giving them a way to improve things. It keeps coming forward. The next thing that happens here is the mummy. The mummy is very interesting because I feel like they're starting to heal. When I'm feeling the mummy, in this situation, I almost feel like it's somebody with like a body cast. I literally feel like it's somebody who has a body cast. It feels like a body cast to me right now. And it's kind of like they're starting to really heal. Things are starting to really improve here. Things are starting to get better. And they're starting to see the difference. You got eternal love on your side, which makes me feel like this is worthwhile. This is not only worthwhile because you're helping somebody and their life is improving. You seem to be gathering more information. You seem to be seeing more ins and outs. You're helping them kind of tailor this to their own situation as it keeps going forward. But you're learning something. You're gaining something from this. You're definitely gaining something very good here. Eternal love is like you're enjoying the process because this is going better for this person, but you're also getting something out of it yourself. And it seems like it's very positive. It's a very positive give-take action. I very much like this. They're healing. Over some time, I feel like they're going to stabilize. It's kind of like they're not going to spend the rest of their life in that body cast. One day they're going to get out of that body cast. Ten of Pentacles. It's very good. Now, that next card is very interesting. Backslide. Alright. They stabilize. I don't understand why they're backsliding. They make a choice. They make a choice, the Two of Wands. And they backslide. They go back to the way it was before where it didn't work that well. It's almost like they do well enough that they think they've overcome the problems of the past, and then they return to the way they used to do things. And like, that's how they ended up in that mess. Why are they doing that? Because I'm getting the werewolf coming on after the Ten of Pentacles. Like, everything's stable, everything's good, but it's just like, for example, I just feel like they have to put in extra effort. It's kind of like, I'm going to use this, I've been using this example a lot lately. It's like they used to use a box cake mix and they would make dry cake that nobody really wanted to eat. And you taught them the proper ways to use this stuff, to use the tools to not overmix things and to make it from scratch and to make a really good cake, a really moist, delicious cake. And they were doing really well with that for a while, but they have a bakery. Say this is a bakery they're running. They did that really well, and people are starting to really pull in the orders, but they're like, yeah, but it's so much easier and so much quicker to use the box. I'm just going to go back to the box. It's kind of like, what? Like, why? Like, don't you realize that that's not going to work here? When the werewolf shows in, it's like a change that's not expected, and it's like the werewolf is something that it's very carnal. It goes for what it wants. It satisfies its urges. It satisfies its urges. And it goes back to something that it shouldn't go back to. That's what I'm also getting here. Usually, like, well, werewolves are not like cute and cuddly. You know, they don't curl up on the end of your sofa and just hang out, and you can just pet them once in a while. They're destructive, you know. Skull of Light here. I feel like you're watching this, and you're just kind of like, you're seeing this happen, and you're just kind of looking at it like, what are you doing? Like, I feel like you stepped right in. I feel like you stepped right in and called this out for what it is. Like, what are you doing? I feel like you're telling this person, why would you go back to doing it that way? Nobody's going to want that. Nobody wants that dry, tasteless cake. I don't know why you even bother making it. If you don't want to make cake, then don't make cake, but don't make that crap. And I feel like that's what you're telling them. Like, if you don't want to make cake, if you don't want to do cake, then don't do cake, but don't make that crap. That's dry, tasteless, nobody wants it. Don't do that. Like a really bad box cake, we're going to say. I'm just going to say. When you keep going forward, they're trapped. They're stuck. And I feel like even though you're telling them, don't do that, don't go back to doing it the way you did it, nobody wants that. Don't do that. That's how you get in these problems. That's how you end up in this trouble. Don't do that. And I feel like you keep telling them that. They seem to ignore you until they're trapped again. And they get right back to square one, and they're back in this, I'm upset, I'm devastated, things aren't where I want them to be anymore, this isn't good, I don't like this. And they're trapped again. I see you coming forward yet again, just to remind them, listen, I already told you, I already taught you, I already showed you. If you want things to go back to being good again, do it the way you're supposed to, the way you know you're supposed to. You're just giving them the information. When I'm getting the scrying, I feel like you're telling them, if you keep doing it the way you're doing it right now, you're just going to be unhappy and you're going to continue to be unhappy. If you want things to get better and you want things to be stable and lucrative again and good again, do it the way I taught you, do it the way you should be doing it. When I'm getting the scrying on your side, you're basically telling them, you're sealing your own fate. You decide what you want. It's up to them after this. There's only so much you can do, You got the Skull of Stars, which I like the Skull of Stars. It reminds me of the Star card. The Star card in the Tarot deck is the Aquarius card, right? And it does remind me of that. This is one of those things where they can't lean on you. They can't lean on you after this point. After this point, you've already explained it to them. You've already helped them. You've already taught them. You're not. I just don't see you just sitting there holding their hand and doing it for them. I just don't think you can do that. I just don't think it's realistic. I think it'll drive you mad if you tried to. Basically, I feel like the Skull of Stars coming in is saying you've done your best. You've given the information. You gave them a chance. They know what to do. If they choose not to do it, that's on them. Your heart, I feel like, does go out to these people, whoever this person is. But I feel like at the end here, they're trying to remind you, there's only so much you can do. You got to let it go at this point. Because you reminded them twice at this point, is what I'm getting. Once when they're starting to head the wrong direction, and the second time when they're actually in this, devastation again, or what do we call it, this heartbreak again. You reminded them twice. If they ignore you, it's on them. Let them be, live your life. I don't know how else to say that. I hope that doesn't come across really harsh, but it's like you helped them. You helped them for one. You reminded them before they went down this bad path, and then you reminded them a third time when they're down there in the dumps again, and you're like, well, pick yourself up. You know how to do it. Step away, let them live their life. I guess if they choose to be that way, if they choose to believe they're trapped, then I guess they have to be trapped. Maybe that's their life plan. Maybe that's what they got to do. I know that sounds harsh, but I feel like what they're saying is step away. Don't let this be a source of aggravation for you. Take your energy elsewhere. Enjoy your life in a different way. All right. I'm going to shut this down here. I hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you.